Greetings everyone and welcome to the Occult Think Tank. My name is Greg. In this video I am going to talk about the occult and Satanism. There are a lot of people that think the occult is Satanism, but this is false. I have seen one person associate the occult with cult simply because occult has cult in the word. This is showing an extremely superficial mentality. The biggest reason people will falsely associate the occult with Satanism is the shared symbology these two subjects have. In the definition I had seen online, there is a reference to magic and the supernatural. While this may be an appeal to those inclined to woo-woo thinking, it is not the position I am coming from. Largely because for me to believe in magic or anything supernatural, I would need to see evidence supporting those things. What the word occult simply comes down to are things that are hidden or secret. This is why a lot of the ancient mystery schools were called occult, because to have access to the secrets, one needed to be initiated into that mystery school. The secretive nature of these groups, along with the control they exert on the members, can cause them to be termed cults. Whether a mystery school or secret society is a cult depends on one's point of view. However, I don't automatically think a mystery school or secret society is a cult. There would need to be other factors for me to reach that conclusion. There are all kinds of examples of mystery schools or secret societies. The most commonly known ones are also mentioned in conspiracy theories, like the Freemasons, Skull and Bones, the Thule Society, and the Bilderbergers, just to name a few. An examination of any of these groups could be called an occult study. The thing is, there is a lot of subjects that also fall under the term occult than just the ones I mentioned. A few examples of these are aliens or extraterrestrial life, UFOs, cryptic creatures, medicine, and even religious belief. Some may be wondering how medicine can fall under the occult. This is because there is secret knowledge or hidden ideas that one only learns about when they go into that field of study. Like the fact that there are two organs in the human body that are called occult organs. Those organs are the gallbladder and the hypothalamus. While the idea of religious belief being occult, I am sure Christians would want to say that this is an examination of a belief system other than theirs. However, the reality is the Christian religion can be called occult as well, as there are ideas that are kept hidden or secret and only told to those that go deeply into the religion. The appeal of occult subjects comes down to how people like thinking that they're in on a secret that others do not have. This is why people are drawn to things that are claiming to be secrets, leaked, bombshells, and whistleblowers. Even though we are all drawn to find out behind the scenes information about hidden or secret knowledge, when it is called occult, then suddenly it becomes demonic or of Satan. Years ago, when I was doing internet radio, I picked the name the Occult Think Tank because I knew occult was such a broad term that it would encompass so many subjects that I would never run out of material. However, like so many other things in the United States, Christians want to make everything about them or an attack on them. This is a warning sign of narcissism, something which I have covered in the God of the Bible and showed very clear evidence that the God of the Bible is a narcissist. Here is an example of someone that clearly has no actual understanding of what occult means, but sees the word and automatically assume things that are simply false. I pointed out that science and religion are incompatible for the simple fact science seeks answers to questions, while religion claims to know it all. To which John Haas said, things an occultist would say, you are doomed. Honestly, it amuses me when people call me an occultist because of the sheer lack of understanding of the term that this displays. I had asked him to define occult, as well as to explain how and why I am doomed, as well as doomed to what. The problem with what follows is, shortly after posting a reply, John Haas deleted the post, probably because he knew he was being a massive horse's ass. However, YouTube does enable me to see a brief bit of what was posted, even if it is deleted. This generated a reply of, oh my, testy. Those wrapped up in it always go to the testy side of things when confronted with the truth of the matter on which we speak. The problem with this is he gives no truth, only opinion. If he had truth to share, one would think he wouldn't have been so quick to delete it. He then asks, are you active in the occult also, or just thinking about it? To this, I'm not exactly sure what he means by active in the occult, as the occult isn't one thing like a religion or group, but covers an extremely broad range of topics. There is simply no way that I or anyone could be active in all of the aspects of the word which occult applies. No one has that much free time. Someone can be active in a specific occult subject, but then they wouldn't say that they're active in the occult, but simply in the specific religion, group, or idea. It is very similar to people saying they believe in God. I always ask first, which one? Because there have been thousands in human history. Before we could have a discussion about the God you believe in, you must first define the God of which you speak. I then encountered a really silly post on a theistic Satanist group on Facebook that I am a member of. You may be wondering, wait a minute, why would a very outspoken atheist be a member of a theistic Satanist group? This is a valid question, and one that has a very simple answer. I am friends with the founder of the group, Tom Respotnik. Over the years, I have been a moderator on various Facebook groups that he had. Typically, I wouldn't get involved in discussions of Satan, as I do not believe such a being exists. For me to get involved, I have to see something that hits high on my stupid meter, or is something I know to be a pet peeve of Tom's. Years ago, I saw one person make a stupid remark of burning in Satan's love, which had me roasting them with, if that's your idea of love, you can be in absolute bliss tonight, as we have gasoline and matches. To be fair, I wasn't advocating they do something so mind-numbingly stupid, only pointing out the absurdity of their statement. The post I had responded to in this case simply asked, do you love Satan? I know this gets to be a pet peeve of Tom's, as the word Satan comes from Judaism, not Sumer, while the word Lucifer comes from King James, much later than the Jewish Satan. I had also noticed someone calling themselves Lucifer Darkspeed. This guy's name got my attention because of how reverse Christian it is. It is taking the anti-figure made up by King James, as well as the opposite of light speed, being dark speed. I pointed out to him that the Hebrew word of Hele, which King James translated as Lucifer, means morning star. And the only person in the Bible to call themselves the morning star was Jesus. Yes, I was poking the reverse Christian with a stick to see if he would be dumb enough to bite, and he didn't disappoint. His reply started off contradicting itself before descending into absolute absurdity. You really only make yourself look bad here, mister. Your lack of history. Yes, you are correct. Wait a minute. If he knows I am correct, how do I have a lack of understanding of history? Then claiming, but did you know that adversary is a Latin word, and Latin is the language of Satan? This had me laughing my ass off. First of all, adversary is not strictly a Latin word, as it is what Satan means in Hebrew. I pointed out to this dipshit that Latin didn't exist until 240 BC, whereas the Jewish character of Satan goes back to about 1451 BC, with the story of Balaam and the donkey. How could a language which wouldn't exist for over 1200 years after Satan showed up to be the language of Satan? Here is a tip for all of you. Even if you do not like someone for whatever reason, if they are hitting you with facts left, right, and center, be damn careful what claims you make to them. Most of all, do not do as this moron did and simply make up bullshit and call it a gold nugget. Because just like he got, you could be mercilessly roasted. Especially if you're in a group of Satanists. As a general rule, Satanists react to things without holding back at all. If you are metaphorically sticking your neck out for them, do not be shocked if they chop off your stupid head. You are the idiot that metaphorically gave them your head on a silver platter. They simply swung the sword and chopped off your stupid head. To put it another way, if you're dumb enough to toss a ball across the plate, don't be shocked when I swing. He had asked if the picture I use is me, to which I said yes. And I asked if he was going to try and cast some Catholic spell on me. I also pointed out that the group's founder is a personal friend of mine. This wasn't to try and flex on him, only to give him a heads up on being careful who you try fucking with. I then called Tom and he informed me that this kid had left the group, which I regard as weeding out a reverse Christian. In preparing for this video, it dawned on me that this kid may have heard the song Satanicist by Venom. I'm not saying that this is where the idiot got the idea that Latin is the language of Satan, but it is the only possible connection I can see. If this fool had done even a little research into the name Chronozon, which is mentioned, he would have seen a reference to John Dee and Edward Kelly, which would have brought to his attention the language of Enochian, which was called an angelic language. I had looked into the language of Enochian and could do a video on that if you want. The cover of the Venom album, Possessed, had a picture of a boy and a girl in Venom t-shirts, and the colors were simply inverted. Here is what that black and white picture was without the inverted color. Along the same lines as inverting the colors on a picture is what is called backmasking, or backward messages in songs. Venom did this a few times, but they are not the only band from that era to have done this. Back in the 1980s, reversing part of a song was not easy to do if you were listening to it on a cassette tape or otherwise. But recording it, it would have been easy to do because you simply would have recorded it forward and then flipped it with the recording software to being backward in the song. Now, with the age of computers, it is effortless to reverse a track or part of a track. This is very different from reverse speech, What you are going to hear is a backward message, as it is in the song In a League with Satan by Venom. What you're going to hear first is what was played forward. Then I will reverse it and play the section backward so you can hear what is being said. The words are so clear and are spoken, not sung, there should be no problem understanding what is being said. Here it is, forward. Now here it is, backward. It may be shocking for you that a band would be so blunt in a message, but it is important to keep in mind that this was written as if this soul is as physical as the body. There was even a mention of crush your bones and making you bleed, both of which would be impossible in some soul thing that has no physical qualities. However, this is written from the reverse Christian mindset. As I have pointed out in other videos, Christians, as well as those that prefer the term spiritual, still can't give me a definition of what soul or spirit is. The reason they can't is I make it crystal clear that giving physical descriptions would require them to prove it, as I can easily see what is physical. Not all cases of backmasking are this clear. There are some which contain heavy distortion effects, but I contend what Venom was hiding backward in some songs is no worse than what they have forward. To wrap this up, I want to show you a post from someone that claims to be a theistic Satanist, but acts like a reverse Christian. This is someone I regard as an absolute joke, as they want to post things that fit the stereotype of the Satanists that Christians were all freaked out about back in the satanic panic of the 1980s. My response to this so-called satanic dipshit is exactly what I say to Christians regarding their claim, only with the fictional characters inverted. I see no evidence to believe your claims about Satan. I see even less reason to think that the little title you gave yourself has any more meaning than David Myatt, aka Anton Long's claims regarding the Order of Nine Angles, which I exposed as a Nazi fraud over a decade ago. Yes, he was the same one that founded Combat 18. You may be wondering, why 18? Oh, that is based on 1 being A, as A is the first letter of the alphabet, and 8 being H, because H is the 8th letter of the alphabet, which is short for Adolf Hitler. So Cynthia should seriously think twice about trying to have a pissing contest with me, especially if you're going to try and employ reverse Christian, aka satanic spells on me. I know how to deal with people like her, but my method doesn't involve killing any animals or shaking a goat's penis at someone. Plus, my methods are far more effective in exposing someone as the fraud, or in her case, the absolute joke that she is. I contend she is a reverse Christian because all she is doing is taking the anti-God of Christianity and making that her God. Just like so many of the Christians I have dealt with, this so-called theistic Satanist is not going by anything that is written in ancient Sumerian text, but making up her own reverse Christian bullshit. If Enki, Enlil, or any other Anunnaki god would exist, displays like she is doing would not have them pleased with her, but disgusted as she is trying to puff herself up, just like the Christians do regarding their horse shit. This is why I regard her not as a Satanist, but a reverse Christian. While I find the ideas of the Sumerians interesting, I have nothing but contempt for those that take the anti-figure of Christianity and twist that into their bullshit deity. They do not even have the brains to come up with their own imaginary being. They must copy off of a weak religion, then lie and claim that their ideas are based on Sumerian writings when those writings are vastly different than the ones the Christians are basing their ideas on. I want to point out that the Christian idea of an all-good God versus an all-evil God did not exist until around the 7th century BC with Zoroaster. It was Zoroaster who first put forward the idea of an all-good God with Ahura Mazda, and an all-evil God with Ahriman. So, based on this fact, the Sumerian writings and the Anunnaki would have had Enki and Enlil, as well as all of the other gods and goddesses, being a combination of good and evil. There would not be a distinction of one being all good and the other being all evil. Because if such a being would actually exist, it would be impossible for it or anything that is real to be all one way or all the other. Because no human is all good or all evil. Even the most evil in human history have had those in their existence that they were not evil too. Like someone like Adolf Hitler or Stalin, Mussolini, Genghis Khan. All of them would have had those around them that they were nice to. You do not have all good or all evil. That is simply a fictional character that one has made up. It is easy to make a fictional character all one way or all the other. But this does not exist in reality. Feel free to leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. Talk to you later, people.